Hi everyone, so today I'm going to do the tutorial for the new swap. I'm holding the Tropical Flutters and Flowers swap. Sachet bag swap, I guess, is because we're going to put them in here. So last time I chose that name because it was like potpourri, and I'll probably do another potpourri swap where maybe it's whatever kind of colors you want to use and all different, but for right now I had done them in a certain way. So this one is still going to be in a little organza bag. We'll talk about that in just a minute. So if I have any links to any of the items I'll be using, because today I'm doing the tutorial, which usually I use however many things I just pull out of my stash or things I might have just recently ordered. Those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission for your purchase items to those links. Right at the top, I just have a few things. I usually want to get to some things quickly. I still have a few spots left. I don't know if by the time you see this video that'll be the case. But if you're interested, my email will be in the description box. I said I'd leave it open till the 13th, which is Friday, but I already have like over 46 people signed up, so I mean I can take a handful more. Yes, that's very important. And if you email and if I tell you it's full, it's full. So I'm sorry, but maybe for the next time you can sign up. The next swap, whenever or whatever that will be, I don't really have that planned. I always just kind of feel like doing something. I'm like, oh, that's what I'll do. I do it, but that's about it. I will email guidelines. If you do not have the guidelines, if I didn't respond to you or you don't have the guidelines, that means you're not signed up. So please make sure to have received a response. Don't send anything if I haven't responded. Don't send anything in, because I know my P.O. box is always in the description box, but that's, you know, if people want to send happy mail or things like that. But other than that, it's not for the swap unless I say, okay, you're in, you know, you got it, got you down, and then I respond with the basic guidelines that are written out. But mostly you need to listen to pretty much every word I say in this video, because that's really where the bulk of the information is. Like I say, I like to vlog, not blog. I don't really write things out, even though I guess generally I'm a pretty good writer, but I just don't have the time, the bandwidth for that. Like my bandwidth is here, right? And making videos, editing, and all that stuff. So I just don't do that. And it does take a lot of time. To be very clear, it takes a lot of time, right, to write. And so I type up a little thing. It's kind of a quicker blurb, but really refers you back to like the video is where the information is. And I already have some questions from people who have already signed up, and I've emailed the guidelines too. So I'll have those kind of top of mind as I go through this. See if I can answer them here if I haven't already responded, and maybe those are questions other people have too. And I'm going to tweak the rules just a little bit, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. As far as, because if you're already started on it, don't worry about it. I'm not changing anything as far as the tropical nature. It's just that if you're Flutters, if you want to do 3 designs and 2 of each, that's okay. I'll allow that. Or 2 designs like we had originally talked about and 3 of each. The reason I did 3 of each is because with the flowers, I always think flowers look pretty in a group of 3. So you want to have at least 3 that are similar, you know, that are going to be the same, that you can do something like that with. Especially in this one, since it's tropical, it's not like, okay, last time I said, you know, pick 2 colors and use those. It could be anything, I heard my son. So as far as the flutters part of it, so it's tropical flutters and flowers, you can do 3 different things. Let's say a butterfly, a bird, and another butterfly or whatever, a different type, or a dragonfly or whatever. You can do 3 and 2 of each, but it still has to add up to 12, okay? So the 3 flowers, right, 2 designs, 3 of each. Because that makes more sense. With the animals part, I mean, you don't need to have 3 on the same card, right? So I was thinking, you know what? We can do those in 2s if you wanted. So if you want it, because it's also very hard. I mean, I have tons of butterflies, tons of hummingbirds, tons of dragonflies, tons of, you know, all these parrots. I have, especially if you're thinking about cricket, there's so many designs on there. So if you want to pick out 3 different flutters, and that flutters are flying insects or like birds, okay? I know I've had questions about that too already. What is considered a flutter? But it's just any kind of animal that flies. That's tropical. Remember, we're back at tropical. The name is tropical. So like I said before, I don't really like a cardinal or like a blue jay. Like that doesn't really work. So if you don't have those, stick to butterflies. I know a lot of times we have butterfly dies. And both of these items, whatever the items are, if I'm talking about the flutters or the flowers, they have to have at least 2 layers. And I know sometimes people make rolled flowers. That means it has to have like a center, not just rolled up paper. Okay. So at least 2 layers. So like with the butterflies, you know, a background layer, a topper layer, or 2 layers that are just layered up, however, but it has to have 2 or more layers. And you guys saw the last swap. I mean, people just knocked it out of the park with like gorgeous things. So, you know, really try to do your best and really go all out, I think is what I would say, especially in this one, because we're only going to have really essentially 2 different flowers, right? So you're only picking 2 flowers and you're gonna make 3 of each. And then the flutters, the little animal part of it, you can do 3, 2 of each, or 2 animals and 3 of each, okay? That's the only thing I'm changing. I didn't change it in the rules as I typed it up because I don't want to confuse people. So I'm saying it right now. If you want to include 3 different animals, 2 of each, that's okay. But it still has to add up to 6. And the reason it's that number is because it has to fit in here. You can't really fill this up, I mean, all crazy, right? And then leaves. This time you have to include leaves. I know last time I think I said they're optional, but they look really nice when people include leaves. I mean, it just finishes your card, it finishes your project, whatever it is that you're doing. So if the leaves are attached to the flower, that's fine. They might damage, you know, it depends on what you made them out of. So you probably want to put them in something. Last time I put them in a glassine bag that looks like this. I'll have all those links in the description box. This one happens to fit really nice in there. If you put them in there, fold it over, and it fits in there. And it actually gives us some sturdiness so that your flowers and your other little things that are in here don't get crushed up so much, right, while this is in there. However you want to do it, it's up to you. But you have to include leaves. And I'm not giving an amount for leaves, but nothing else. So it's the flutters, it's the flowers, and it's leaves. No swirls or flourishes or like rhinestones or all these other fun things that would be awesome and amazing. Please don't include those this time around. We're just leaves, flowers, and flutters, whatever your flutters are considered to be. And of course they have to fit in here. One other thing I want to mention right here on top is that you do have to send in your postage with the swap as it comes in. No PayPal, no nothing, no checks, please. Just send the postage. It's $9.45 for the small flat rate box, which looks like this. And the reason I'm very particular as far as sizing, like if you send in too much or something that's too thick, it's just going to crush on the way to the other person or on the way here, or you know, you're going to crush the other people's swaps. So what happens is you're going to send in 4 with your leaves, your 3 flutters, or 2 flutters, depending on what you're doing, and your 2 flower designs, 3 of each, in this little baggie, right? It's going to be all tied up, all cute, and you're going to send in 4 of them. But if you place this here, you can see how much room this is already taking up in this box. Obviously, it's going to be puffed up. It's going to be a little smaller. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So whenever I send these back to whoever, I'm going to grab one of yours, and it needs to kind of fit in this area. The next one's here, the next one, and the next one. So you don't want a big old bag. This is the biggest the bag can be, like I said. In previous, it's 4 by 6, I believe. The ones from the dollar store, the organza bags, are about 4 by 5, and that's what I used last time around. This time I ordered these on Amazon. I'll have them linked there. They have different colors. Of course, they sell them by like the hundreds. You don't need 100, but maybe you can use them for something else. Once this is all tied up and everything, it just fits nicely, okay? And again, I mean, it can only be as big as your flowers. I've had people ask me, can the flowers be foam? Can they be, you know, like flower forming stuff, not like kid foam? Something nice, right? Or ribbon. Of course, it can be made out of whatever it is that you want for your flowers, as long as they're tropical theme, right? And which would be, in my opinion, a tropical flower, but I know we don't all have just basic tropicals. So if you can make a peony or something like that from a rose dye, I don't know. Whatever it is, but tropical flowers, right? So tropical colors. The animals, again, also tropical type animals. So I forgot where I was going with that. So that's just, so they're gonna fit here. What I'm trying to say is whatever fits in here comfortably is what your materials can be made out of, right? I mean, if they're flower foam and they're kind of bigger and bulkier, because they are, and it fills this up way too much or they don't fit, then I would say don't do it. Or maybe some of them and some of them not, or whatever. But they have to fit in here. I mean, that's it. That's the requirement, is that they have to fit in here. Whatever materials you're using, they have to fit in here, right? The birds or butterflies or whatever that you're using for your flutters and your flowers. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let me look at my notes as far as what I sent out in the guidelines, because that'll also help me remember what I need to say. So I'm going to pull that up. I'll be right back. So I guess the other thing I should mention is that if you are signed up, they need to be postmarked no later than May 21st, which is a Saturday, during the day while your post office is open. If your post office doesn't open Saturday, then you need to send yours out by Friday, right? Because that means it's not going to move until Monday, which basically makes it late. So things happen. I know one of my buddies and her swap just came in. I'm so sorry, Yvonne. It basically took 2 weeks to come in. And usually if you're using priority, because I just, you know, you don't have to send it in this box, but send it in however you like. But priority usually takes 2 or 3 days, and generally, if anything happens outside of that, then it's just like anything can happen, because it could come in 4 days, or it can come in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know, just it's usually, if it doesn't make it by the date that they tell you, then there's an issue. But generally, it's that many days. So yeah, I think between the initial video and this video, I've pretty much mentioned everything. So again, I might update the wording. I don't think I will because it's just going to make it more difficult. The first thing I put on here, you know, with the different guidelines that I tell you guys is basically also not to scent the flowers, which I didn't mention last time. Please do not scent your swap because if it is scented, I will definitely send it back without swapping. And if it breaks the rules, it'll be sent back without swapping. I know I say that, and then sometimes there's enough people who broke the rules that I'll still swap them together. It just depends on the rule that's broken, to be honest, because if it's too big, that's definitely not going to be swapped. It's just, it damages the other swaps and there's issues. So, you know, not staying within the theme, things like that. Again, I don't care what material you make them out of. They just have to fit that bag. It's up to you. I mean, it's you know, your design. So, the number one thing I put on here, you know, the swap will be for tropical flutters and flowers sachet bags. And I'm not going to, like, again, enumerate every animal, but, you know, I found some really cute, like, toucans and parrots, seagulls. And I was like, well, is that tropical seagull? I don't know. I guess they are. But on the Cricut design space, I'm like, that is so funny. But, I mean, those are very specific animals. But, you know, butterflies, dragonflies. Someone asked about bees. Sure, I mean, bees have to pollinate stuff, right? So I'm assuming they're everywhere. I don't know. Maybe bumblebees, huh? They're a little different. But anyway, so it has to have 6 flutters and 6 flowers. And you'll create 3 each of 2 different flutters and 3 each of 2 different flowers, right, for each bag. And the items will need to follow the tropical theme. All 4 bags will be the same. So everything you do for one bag, you do for the other. They should all be the same. I know sometimes we run out of paper, so do the same design if it's a different color, whatever. But I'm not going to go through each bag and show each bag, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to choose one bag. It's going to be representative of what you sent in, and they should all be the same, okay? Flutters are flying insects. They're animals. I said animals, but birds, I guess is what I really meant. That are tropical, like birds, butterflies, dragonflies, etc. The flutters and flowers must have at least 2 layers, meaning at least a base and an inlay layer or a petal layer or whatever, but at least 2 layers, right? And it says I explain more in the tutorial video, which we will get to once I start working on mine. And you must use the organza bag. They can't be bigger than 4x6, like what I showed you there. I did say the ones I use measure 4x5. That's because I was using the Dollar Tree ones before. But the ones I show you there, no plastic bags. Please don't send them in a plastic bag or like a Ziploc. It just doesn't look nice. So they need to be in our organza bag, okay? Wherever you get it from, but no bigger than 4x6 and all that. Leaves for the flowers may be attached to the flowers or placed in a glassine bag or other appropriate small bag, of course, like inside or attached on here. If you can put them inside, that'd be better. I know last time I think some were just kind of loose in the packaging and it was hard for me to remember, and maybe I forgot to put a leaf in somebody's swap, I don't know, but I was like, I was trying to get it all together. And then you must include leaves in your swap, so that's different from last time. And don't include anything else, clean and simple, right? No flourishes, random die cuts, pearls, whatever, just the flutters, the flowers, and the leaves. And if you want to include something with your name or some info, a lot of times including on a tag with this one is better, but if you want to include a very small card, not a whole card, not like a A2 size card, a little card that fits in the organza bag too with your info, that'd be great. So just a little something if you want people to know your name and info, because a lot of times people want to thank people and people email each other or send thanks, so that's really nice. And yeah, so then I'll pull names by groups of 5. Hopefully everyone followed the rules. And then those 5 people swap within each other, right? So I don't do the names ahead of time. That way if something does happen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect anything, right? So I just pull the names when everything comes in with the live reveals. And that's it. So stick to it because I don't want to pull anybody's out because they didn't stick to it. So all right, so we're going to have 4 of these, all the different things. So what I'm going to do is start gathering some stuff. I think the first things I'm going to do is maybe some Cricut. I think everything I'm going to do this time around is on Cricut because I found some really cute things that I owned and whatever else that I would like to use, but probably some leaf dies and stuff like that. So let me grab some stuff and we will get started. Okay, so a couple things I'm just going to go on here in Cricut. If you don't have a Cricut and you just want to skip this part, I will try and put a thing down here that tells you like where to skip to as far as, you know, the next thing we're doing is probably putting things together or whatever, or maybe die cutting, I don't know. Just real quick, I mean, this is not going to be a full tutorial, but I will say, if you are in Cricut and the design space, and like I've always said, it's so random the way that you choose things or you find things. Sometimes it'll have this many, sometimes it'll have hundreds of results, sometimes it'll have 0 results. What I would say is always put this on the machine to be the largest machine they have. Because that way it'll give you all the options. Even though on the Joy you can cut things that are bigger, you're gonna size it down. Obviously, they're just like, nah, we won't even show you these larger things for whatever reason. So always just make sure you're on one of the larger machines. You're going to find more things. I'll start from here, even though usually I like to just go to new project and I go from there. But let's say we're on this cover page. And I want to show you just real quick. I'll show you what I'm going to cut, but I'm going to show you what I did to manipulate one of the images for this swap for it to work for me better. So let's say Flamingo, right? Flamingo, because that's tropical and adorable. I would love a peacock too, but anyway, I didn't have a cute peacock. So you can buy them, like this one's pretty, you know, but you're also going to put it in a bag and his little legs are kind of skinny. I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at these things, like how will they travel? How will they look nice? So I'm going to click on view all just right here. And maybe I should turn on my lights, but you know what? It's not too bad. Okay. So these are all the ones. Now I can click over here on free, right over here, click free and see what they give me. They only have one option. So I'm going to unclick that. And actually under just bird, looking at bird, you will also find flamingos that they don't offer you and all kinds of other animals for whatever reason. So now under ownership over here, ownership, I'm going to click on purchased and see what I get. Okay, perfect. So I have a few more options, but honestly, if you just look up the word bird, you will find other flamingos they didn't include here for whatever reason, because the die cut itself has to be called, like this one is called flamingos and this one is called flamingo, and that's why you find it. But if let's say the designer just said bird or tropical bird or something like that, that's what it's going to go. But let's use this one because I did like his look. I liked his little legs. I thought, okay, it's at least 2 layers. And this one's too weird, so like, you know, I'm just going to add it to canvas. I'm just going to show you what I did to manipulate this to make it work for me. And, you know, hopefully that works. And I wish I knew how to screenshot again, but I don't. At least not with this computer yet. So I'm just going to make this bigger, even though I don't want it bigger, but just so you guys can see it. So he's almost 5 inches tall, which, you know, he might fit in here, right? And this is not to scale, but I don't want to squish him either. But I'm just making it big enough so you guys can see it well. Okay, so I have this guy. I think he's adorable. Everything's great. Now, I can take this, like if I was clicking on that, and I can click on offset and make a border for him. So let's just pretend this is the border I want. I'm not going to do this, so I don't care. Whatever shows up here, I'll say apply. Now I have this outline. But do you want that outline in the background? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But for me right now, I don't. I just want to show you if you wanted to have that as a background that you can layer your pieces onto, you can do that. I did mine a little more sophisticated, I suppose, so let me undo that. I'm going to take this. I am going to ungroup it. So over here, I'm going to ungroup. Boop. I'm going to take this piece away. I'm going to click on this guy again. I'm going to duplicate that. Okay, I'm going to put this over here. And I'm going to color this one black just so it's different from the other layers. So I'm going to go here, over on this area. I'm trying to show you guys there. And I'm just going to turn it black or whatever color looks good. Okay. Now, on this one that I separated out, that I duplicated, I'm going to go down here and click on contour right down here. And this is just manipulating it so I have a background piece. Now, you can just use that, but I thought, you know what, might as well make it a solid piece. So here, I basically want to hide all the contours because I don't care, but I'm just going to click on them. So I'm going to click on this one, and that gets rid of the little beak area. I'm going to click on this one, the other beak area that's there. I'm going to also click on the little... So the leg hole one is interesting. I can leave it or I can take it away, right? How stylized do you want this to be? So I think I will take it away. So you'll see in a minute what I'm talking about. I mean, you can leave it there and it'll just be more stylized. It's what you want. And then here, the circle is the little eye one. I'm going to click on that too, and it's going to take that away. So when I come back here, I have this piece that's basically a shadow layer. So if I bring this back, and let's just send that to... I'm going to pop this on here. Now I have a layer that's black and solid underneath there. And I have this one. So it's a little more stylized. You're going to see the little black area. But again, I don't have to cut out of black paper. I can cut it out of like an orange paper or something that just helps out with that. I might put a little diamond in for his eye, a rhinestone or something. So if not, it's whatever you want. I was just showing you that you can make your own layers and make this. So this is much sturdier now, and I feel like it'll fit in my little bag and not get hurt, right? So that's one of my little animals that I was going to create. I just want to show you just a little bit about manipulation on some of these things, right? So now I have that last layer. I could have left all the contours there, and I would just had a black piece of paper to layer this up with, or a white piece, whatever it is that you want to put in the background, just make it sturdier, basically. Again, we can cut this piece out if we wanted, just so that the legs don't have anything black here. We could have contoured left that contour there, so that cut would have been there. Whatever it is you want to do. I just want to show you how you can manipulate designs to do something different. So let me go to the project I'll show you that I'm going to cut, and I'll be right back. Oh, I do want to show you. I've had several different things. So I'm like, oh, I like this, and I like that on one day, maybe Saturday. And then I decided, no, I kind of like these things better. So I have a couple of, and this one I was kind of playing around with, but I did a couple of things that I can play with, and some are still here from the last swaps, but I'll do this one. And I will click customize, because if I click make it, it's just going to go to cut, and I don't want to do that quite yet. So I'll click on customize. I want to just replace. I don't care about what I was just playing with, enough to save it. And that's what we have. These are the images that I kind of wanted to play with. And again, I ended up choosing 3 different animals, even though I have dies over here that I can use, so we'll talk about that in just a minute. But with this one, I also gave it another background, just like I did with the flamingo. I did a background layer on this hummingbird because it's very fine and pretty, and I'm going to use vellum layers on this, so I did a black background just so I have a backer piece to it. A bird of paradise, you guys, can you believe it? I mean, that's very tropical and so cute. So they have that, and I don't know if I'll keep this. Whatever I'm showing you right now, it might change because I have a bunch of other dies and other ideas that I want to do, but I need to get this video going, so I'll show you what the ideas might be. This is not my favorite hibiscus, so I might not do that one, but this one I really do like, so I'll probably cut this one. And then I was like, this little seagull, how fun is that, you know? So he's there. I might not cut him, but I just thought it was a fun design. I think I've already cut these to where I want like 3 inches tall. You know, that one's pretty good. This guy is 3.5 inches-ish, right? Because that's just a square, but like in this direction. So I already have everything sized kind of how I want it. I do want to show you one other thing though before I continue, so I'll be right back. Okay, so this is probably a little bit silly, but if you guys remember on the thumbnail in the other video for the sign up, I had this is a bird of paradise, and you can see it has like greenish and reddish and purple and beautiful orangey colors. This one's drying out already, but that's in my front yard, and that was the one that was blooming and kind of towards the end. But I also have passion fruits here, and I'll show you the fruit itself really quick. I took this picture yesterday. It says at 2:51 p.m. because I was like, oh, I want to show you guys this picture because I ordered dies from HSN that are Studio Light that I've been seeing for the last like month. I'm like, do I really want that though? I mean, like I have passion fruit, but like maybe people are like, what is that? That is what a passion fruit flower looks like. I've showed you guys in the past. So this one, so funny. It must have just opened up because you can see hardly anything, but on here it gets pollen, and the pollen comes out later. So in one day the bloom opens, does its thing, closes up, and so you can come out early in the day or whenever it first opens, nothing there. Come back a few hours later, actually I can probably go take a picture of it. It's probably closed up now. It'll have all this yellow pollen on this underside, but what's weird is that underside pollen needs to touch these guys to get pollinated, but you can see they are kind of close together, but they're turned upside down. I'm like, why are they turned away? They should be turned up, right? So they can touch this. But anyway, they want, you know, pollinators to come around and pollinate them, or the wind, or you yourself. Sometimes I'll do that. If I see them, I'll just give them a shake, and it helps get that on this little stickiness. There's like stickiness on these guys. You know how they all have anthers and petals and sepals and whatever, all these names, right? I don't know. But I wanted to show you that is the actual fruit right there. That's the passion fruit. So after it gets pollinated, this thing closes up, and it has big leaves all around that are like the outer part that you think is part of the flower too. I don't know if you can see, it's white back there. It looks like big white petals there in the background, and then when it closes up, it's actually just the backside of the... It doesn't matter. Anyway, it closes up, it looks green again, like before it opens. And then that little guy, that little tiny thing right here, this little piece becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and becomes the passion fruit. So it's just such a beautiful plant. It's weird. I try to get a better picture of it, like kind of further out so you can kind of see what's going on. But then also I wanted to show you guys how this thing I've got, it was like a 6-inch cutting. Put it in the pot. It took a long time to root, and it finally rooted. It did its thing, but I was trying to show you about how big it is now. This isn't even where it's planted. It's way over here, and then it's coming out, and it's going across this whole thing. There's that pretty flower, and it also goes the other direction. In 1 year, it did all that after being put in the ground. I was like, this thing... But that's typical of passion fruit, and I have a little dragon fruit getting ready to grow down there. This is one of my smaller ones, a little cutting there. But the other ones are way bigger. Anyway, just fun. I just want to show you guys those things and, you know, whatever. And then this is the die set I'm picking up there on HSN, which looks a lot like it, right? I mean, look at that. So I was like, I have to have it. So I'm waiting for that to come in. So what I'm showing you right now is literally just because I want to make a tutorial. I need to show you guys what it is that's expected in the thing, but mine will probably be way different by the time I actually do it. So, I'm gonna get some stuff ready to go for the cutting, and I will be right back. Okay. One other thing I remembered that I had mentioned is in the past, the potpourri swap, I said all 3 flowers have to be exactly the same, you know. If you want to size them differently, like right now I'm going to do this hibiscus, I'm going to do them all the same, but like let's say you want it to be a cute grouping of those 3. They have to be the same design. Everything the same, okay? But if you want to make 2 smaller ones, because they can go with like a larger one, so it looks like a cute bouquet when you put it on your card, that's fine. You can size them a little bit differently, but they have to be the same design, okay? So I hope that makes sense. So, you know, with the Cricut, obviously it's easy for me to say, go in here and be like, okay, I want this, but, you know, I just want it to, I want these to be 3 inches big and these to be 2.5. But if you have a die, obviously you can't really do that unless you have nesting dies that are exactly the same or whatever, but, or rolled flowers, you know, but they have to be the same design, okay? So that's all I'm saying. If you want to make, you know, you have your 2 designs, 3 of each, and maybe this group of 3, you have 2 that are a little bit smaller and a larger one, but they have to be the same design. So I'm not saying make like a bouquet of like, oh, well, this can be an iris plus 2 of these guys. No, no, no. It needs to be the same, okay? So just a different size of the same flower you're making, okay? So anyway, I'm just going to click on to cut. I don't want to cut all these things right now because to be honest, I'm probably not going to do them all. Like I probably won't do this guy either. I just thought he was cute, but I'm going to just delete it for now even though he's still in the, I'm not going to save this project when I'm done. So he's still there. If I want to cut him later, I can do that. But I'm going to click make it. Actually, I'm going to change this to Cricut Joy. And I'm going to click make it. But again, that gave me all the different ideas of all the, you know, the different things I wanted to use. So I'm going to click on for any material. And it's going to be on a larger map, but sometimes when I change it to there, to the 12-inch one, it just reverts back when I go to select how many copies. So it's showing me things I don't want to cut right now, but anyway, I'm just going to click that I want 4. Do I want 4 copies? I actually want a ton of copies, but for right now, I'm just going to say 4 because that way I have 4 done. I really want everything I want to do, and I probably will go to the Explore machine to cut them later, but for right now, for this video, to make it quick and let's get done, I'm going to do these now. I'm not going to cut any, see, again, once I click 4, it goes back to the small mat size, so like it doesn't even matter. I can click on here and say, okay, back to 4 by 12, and it'll basically put them all in the one, but I don't care about that. I want this cut. And what's funny is that these things are on the same cut, but I don't want those things on there. So I'm going to manipulate some stuff. I might go back and just get rid of everything other than the flower that I want to cut right now because I want to get it done so I can show you what I'm thinking. But I'll be right back. Now I have it set up just to cut the hibiscus because that's all I want to focus on right now. And I did 6. Actually, I might as well do 12 of them right now, but I did 6. So these are my centers. And the centers, I'm just going to use like a red color because the hibiscus I showed you guys the other day that I have in my yard are like bright pink, but they have like dark red in them too. So this is going to be the flower color, fuchsia pink. I have a red accent that's barely any different than this one, but that's okay with me. That's kind of how it is. It's a very subtle turn from like the pink to the red. So this is my center, this is my flower, and then this is the little stamen or pistil. I need to go look things up. The part that's sticking out. And then I'm going to get these cut. Okay, so obviously we don't need a tutorial on that. I'm just going to cut them and I'll be right back. Cutting. I'm going to take this die that I recently picked up and I'm just going to cut it. Now, I told you guys everything has to have 2 or more layers. This is a 1-layer die. I'm going to cut it out of a few different papers, one of them being vellum, so it looks really nice, and then the other 1 or 2, I'm not sure if I'm going to layer it twice or 3 times, a different material, okay? So I'm just going to run these through some different papers, and I'll be right back. I'm going to cut that, but I just want to show you, like, to not have to deal with these and these different times. I just left them on there, you know, took it off, and then I'm going to do this, but what I'm going to do is take a little leaf at a time and cut it out of, or not cut it out, but go ahead and place it, glue it down, get that going, and then take these off. So I'll keep cutting, but I'm kind of like loading up different things as I'm working, right? I'll be back. Okay, guys, so I have a few things to work with now. And again, I'm just going to be cutting and putting things together. So I'm going to show you just a few, and then I'll come back and show you kind of what is going to go in my bags. You know, it's hard on the Cricut sometimes to like imagine how big something is and end up being, but I think that's a pretty good size. I think that's going to max out that. And then my next flower might be smaller. It might, again, I don't really know how big the passion fruit's going to be because I am definitely going to do the passion fruit. For today, I'll probably cut out something else just to show you, you know, how to, the amounts that you need. But, you know, it's whatever you want. So funny enough about this is a nice thick paper and I wanted, you know, heavyweight paper, I said. And so it was cutting all these things and it was taking forever because when you use heavyweight paper on the Cricut, on the Joy at least, it cuts 3 times. So it's doing all these things 3 times. Do, all this. That doesn't even matter. It's just basically, this is an old school design, so it's basically telling you this is where you put in your little pieces, these centerpieces. So I canceled it after I did the one, and so now I have an idea of kind of where this goes. I'll copy it on the other ones, right? But these other ones I didn't allow for those lines, so all I did was contour those out. I just got rid of those lines. So just to finish this one up, all I'm going to do is a couple things, but I do want to add some glue, of course, all the way to the edge. I don't want these getting caught on anything. Now, when something small like this, maybe you want to put glue on the back of your hand and just let it dip, 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 because these are some small little pieces here. But I'll do them all the same, of course, when I get there. That basically pops in there. A lot of the old school designs, especially when you need to know where to place something, they were like that. But like with this one, I figured it doesn't really matter. I mean, you're just going to place it. But since I have this one, I can copy. And then this guy goes right on here. Now, I can leave it free floating, I can leave it a little drop shadowed. I'm still going to just glue it right on there. And then what I'm going to do with that is actually, I have some of this flower pollen stuff. I think I do have it in red. If I find it, you know, red would be fun. Oh no! I'll just tell you why I said oh no. Hold on. Put that on there. I rested my sweater sleeve on this, and this is already not sticky as I would like, so you can see all these sweater and hairs things stuck on there. Not great, so what I'm going to do is wash this, actually. So you can revamp your things. Don't, you know, I'm not going to say don't do that. Some people add, like, spray stick stuff. Suppose that voids your warranty. I don't know what the warranties are like. I never tried to warranty anything with Cricut, but just take a baby wipe and clean it off, and it gets it sticky again. Sometimes you just wash it. It's like those wacky wall walkers when you were a kid and you'd throw them and they get so gross and nasty after a while, so you just wash it with soap and water and it gets it re-sticky again. Kind of like that. Okay, so that's gonna be my flower. So as you can see, it's a very subtle, from that reddish to the pink there, which is actually fuchsia from Tonic. And then I'm going to take this, if I had red powder, like I said, I think I do, but I don't know where it is right now, I would do that, or red Nouveau drops, or whatever it is you want, but I'm just going to add a little drops of this here and there, and my little spoon, so I'll use this little shovel, I can just dip it in there, but sometimes when you dip it, you end up moving your glue, and then it, like, moves really badly. So I'm just going to add this stuff just for fun. It's a little fun pollen on there, just a little something extra, right? So we have 3 layers here. It's the petal layer, we have that piece, we have this guy, and then the 4th layer, I guess, would be that topper. So just a little something extra, right? So with that guy, he has these leaves, that flower, and these are the leaves that are the size for that flower, and it's supposed to be one large one, one small one. Again, I can come in here and stick these down, glue them on, or leave them separate in the bag, or whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to glue them on now, you know, go for it. This one's kind of weird. It goes like that. I'll probably just pop them in the bag, to be honest. So I'll put these separately for each one of these guys in the bag, and hopefully, that's the one thing, will the recipient know that those go together? Hopefully, they'll put them together. And then, I just cut these 2 layers. I was thinking about cutting, we'll see. So let's say this one's more simple. It's 2 layers. I cut that beautiful blue, I forgot the name of this one, from Tonic. It's just a shiny blue paper. And then some vellum. This is the Tonic vellum, the heavier weight one. And you can glue those together. You have to be kind of careful with vellum, so what I was also going to do is possibly put a 3rd layer. But honestly, I like the way this looks. Like, this is what I want. So it's just these 2 pieces. I'm going to use glitter glue, or art glue, art glitter, whatever this is called. I'm still not going to put a lot because I don't trust it that much yet, but supposedly it works really well with vellum. But the paper I'm using underneath this is also, what's the word? Shiny. So I'm going to pop this on here. If it doesn't show up, great. If it does, what I'm going to do is probably put a gem in there just to be less noticeable. Like, pop a little gem there. Again, this is mostly because the paper underneath is shiny, so it's a little different. So again, just a little bit of glue, enough to help me put these 2 together. Again, this die doesn't have a body center or something like that. So if I put a little rhinestone there, I think that would help. But I'll see. If it doesn't look right, if it doesn't dry nicely, I'll just do something else. So I am going to continue cutting, and when I come back, I will have my flutters, I'll have my flowers, and I'll kind of put it together, okay? I might check in with you guys here and there, because that's generally what I do. But I'll be back. I'm working on this. Oh, I knew I was going to have to take this. waiting for these to dry just to see kind of what it looks like. And to be honest, I would have put more glue. So I put a very little glue because I didn't want it to, you know, interfere with anything. But since I have that metallic paper down there, I would have put more glue so that the whole thing has like a blue shininess to it. But now we have the blue and we have the knot and, you know. So if you're doing this and you want to, you know, I think the best thing is to put the more of it so it just really looks like that. But what I'm going to do, since I didn't do that, I want to see if I can fix this. I am going to put glue pretty much all over this area. So this is the art glitter glue. And I'm just going to bring it down through here, like the whole body. Just adding it on here. I'm kind of scraping it a little bit. I suppose you can do this a different way if you want, but I'm just getting it on there. Oh no, no! That's all I need is that thing to push the whole bottle of glitter all over me. So I'm just kind of giving it a round look. And I'm going to dip it in this iridescent glitter. I think that's going to look really pretty. And then it just will, again, I'm looking to add more. You know, if you, like I said, I have that one die. It doesn't have an outline. You got to do a little more with it. And look at that. I think that's going to be lovely. And it'll dry. And it'll be shiny. So that's what I'm going to do with these guys. So I'm putting together my little flamingos. I went ahead and did a pink layer because I was like, I don't know, you know, you start thinking literally like, oh, what does a flamingo look like? I don't know. So, I mean, I could have just stuck with the yellow, orange color, whatever it was that I had in my little cricket thing, but I went with a light pink and then a coral color, or that fuchsia color actually, from the hibiscus. So, again, just working around, getting these guys done, listening to podcasts or whatever. Actually, I like to watch podcasts better on YouTube, even though the people stream them on podcasts. But anyway, I'm going to put this there. And I kind of did some offset and did some the same, I don't know, like on these layers, like if you can see the little black, I like that because I feel like it adds to this particular design. Again, we can do an offset so you have a black line if you wanted it. And then, of course, we need to top these guys off. So I'm just taking these out. And then the little eyeball is so tiny. I'm just making sure that the hole is actually there. So just poking out whatever that is that might be in the way. Well, whatever that is, it's paper. But you know what I'm saying, that little piece there. And just gluing this guy together. The dragonflies are looking good. And that will be this little guy. The Let's Flamingo bird is so cute. The flamingo from the Diamond Press set. I think that one is really adorable. So like I said, I try to clear out the eyes because like I want to make it really clear so you can see through to the black in the background. But that light pink layer is still in the way somehow, so I'll try to pick that out and get rid of that. Maybe I'll take a black pen and just darken it just so you can get in there and see that. But I'll work on those and I'll be back. I'm still cutting and have other things. I do have that Let's Flamingo I had mentioned earlier, and this one has such cute, like just flowers, again, hibiscus types. It has the leaves with like the outer portion. It has the ones that have like, you would layer into it. Well, that's not it, but anyway, this piece over here. So I might use some of these for some leaves. I also have this tropical set, which I love. This is a really old set, you guys, but this set, I mean, look at this. Look how pretty these like monstera leaves. Actually, I was going to take a picture of the monstera I have here in the house. Maybe I'll do that and show you next. But I mean, these guys are big, so I might include some of these guys, some of the smaller ones to go with the flowers. These are more just like background. But again, we're not overloading this with leaves. It's just some, you know, some. So I'll be back. I think I'm done with that cricket. I'm probably going to cut some flowers actually from one of these sets, probably the Let's Flamingo, because it does have like little flowers that kind of look like plumeria, I remember. So I might do that, especially because I'm literally going to be doing the passion fruit ones when they come in. So I don't want to do a whole elaborate flower and then just not use them. So I did cut some leaves from these guys in a couple different shades. Again, it's not all about the leaves, so I'm just cutting some. I might add a few more, but for right now, I just want to show you. And here are the 3 leaves, the 3 sets that go with the flower, with the hibiscus. So I'm just going to add a few more. And like I said, maybe a few more, but you don't want to overload everything just with leaves, right? So that's mine. Sometimes you'll stamp and cut them. Whatever it is that you want with your leaves is wonderful. It has to fit in the bag, so a little bit shorter than that. I have my other ones. I just cut out a ton right now. This bird is not coming out how I wanted because I want to cut some vellum. So what I had done on the cricket is this one, and then a vellum layer, and then this one, but the vellum layer keeps getting chewed up, so I'll probably put it in the Explorer, because when you have a bigger piece of paper, and I have newer mats that's going to be really sticky, it shouldn't gouge. It was totally ripping up the paper. Like, it cut it pretty easy, but then it started doing this, and I was like, forget it. But look how nice the cut is. I mean, it's nice and crisp. It's just ripping it up, so it needs to stick to the mat better, so I'll do that later. So I'm not super, like, you know, yay about this one yet, but I want to add a vellum layer in between, and then that way the vellum's nice and gossamer, and then we have these pretty bits, and then this. But it's basically something like this. Okay, so let's pretend that's one of my creatures. And I used some mottled paper from Recollections that I have. So some are deeper purple and some are lighter purple or whatever, as far as that part of it. But that was pretty. Okay, so that's that guy. I'm not going to glue it together again. Like I said, I still want to see if I can get the vellum cut. And then I need one more flower. So I'm going to go into this set. And so we have the hibiscus in here, but I thought, yeah, like this one. It's a smaller flower. And I'll just cut a couple of these and put them together, and I'll be right back. So now I've done quite a few different things. Actually, I meant to grab a bright pink while I was off camera, and I did not, so let me find one. But I have my little flowers, and so these are not plumeria, but they were in that set, so what I'm going to guess. Okay, so what I was saying is that this is not plumeria. I was just looking for a bright pink, though, because plumeria sometimes are like white and yellow, and some have like pink and white and yellow, or like a bluish. You know, there's different ones. Again, this is not a plumeria flower. I think this one has 8 petals. Plumerias have 6, and they're kind of twisted, like into each other. But that's not really what I care about right now. I just want to grab something pretty like this. So what I did was I cut this paper. It's kind of like a shimmery white, creamy paper. Then I'm going to put over this yellow one. So this is going to be a little guy. And then I have this, hopefully this is pink enough, is what I'm thinking, yeah. So I'm just going to go around the edge and add a little pink to it, like plumeria has. This one's an interesting dye because it does have little cuts, so you can definitely play with it a little bit if you want, like to give it a little something different. But I'm gonna go around all of them and just put a little pink edge, and I'll be right back. For these little guys, again, I'm gonna do a different flower completely, but I'm just showing you how, you know, I'm talking about 2 layers. There's that bottom layer, there's this petal, and then I'm just, you know, I did a little inking, but I'm also going to put a little rhinestone in the middle, and I'll do it with all 3. And I'm keeping them super simple because, again, I'm going to do that passion fruit. Hopefully it fits in the bag. If it doesn't fit in the bag, then I'm going to do these guys. But I'm keeping it simple for today just in case I can use them on something else. So let's say we have those. And then I was thinking about popping a yellow center because really the center is just kind of yellowish anyway. So I'm thinking about getting one of these guys in there. Just want to see maybe this mid-size. Yeah, so I'll use this middle-size one. And I'll pop that in. So I did quite a few different things. It doesn't mean I'm using all of them, but I'll show you right now when I come back what kind of what I'm expecting as far as like a swap, okay? I'll be right back. So I have a few different things. I have my 3 flowers, 1 design, 3 flowers, 1 design, 3 flowers. What I had mentioned is if you want, because it's all 3 of the same, if you wanted, like if you had a die that makes a 1.5 inch one and these 1 inch ones and put them together in their exact same design, go for it. What I don't want is for you to send like 1 of this, 1 of this, and 1 of this, and those are your 3, and then another one that's a whole other thing. So just make them all the same, just like you're seeing here, 3 and 3. If within this 3 you have a bigger one that's the same design, go for it. Within this 3 you have a smaller one that's the same design, go for it, right? So it's easy to kind of go through, and then people can also match them up. Actually, these look really pretty together. I wasn't, you know, I do want to keep that in mind. Like I want things to coordinate, but I wasn't really going for that. So I have my 3 flowers that are a little bit larger. I have 3 smaller ones. In here I have leaves to go with both flowers and some extra ones, right? I'll probably add a few more because, you know, I have room for that. And then I have, so that's that. You need to do 2 designs, 3 of each. On the flutters, which whatever it is that you think is a flying, I don't even know, do flamingos fly? But you know what I mean. It's that kind of animal. I have the 3 flamingos here. I have the 3 flamingos. It sounds like a bar or something. I don't know. I have my 3 dragonflies. I have more birds over here that I had cut. So you can do 3 and 3 just like this. So 2 different designs. 1 design, 2 designs, 3 of each. Or you can do 2 each of 3 designs on the flutters, okay? Not on the flowers. The flowers need to be 3s because the groups of 3s just look better, so you want to have those 3. With these little guys, I mean, if you're putting this on a card with some leaves and something else, you don't need all of them. But that's why I'm saying this one you can do 3 designs, 1, 2, 3, and 2 of each. But you have to have 6 total. So it's either this or it's this, okay? And you can do that. I'm not going to include these guys yet because I think I'm going to take those guys apart. Not apart, but I'm going to try to get the vellum cut. So I have my 3 flutters, the other design of 3 flutters. Again, I want to put them very nicely so they don't get hurt. And pop them together, pop them in here, and I'll bring my little bag. And if, for me, I like to put on my tag the other info, you know, so once I close it up, oh, one more cute thing I'll show you right quick that Tammy and one other gal did in the last swap that I thought was really sweet. They added beads on the bag, make it even cuter. I'll make some kind of tag on the Cricut that has, you know, excuse me. So yeah, so I'll put, you know, tropical flutters and flowers swap by Vianney or whatever. And I'll add that on here as a tag. But I'm going to grab some beads real quick and put them on the ends of here just to be a little cuter. I'm just going to pop them on here, but if you wanted to add them with like a little lobster clasp or something that the person can use later, go for it. But look how cute. So we have flowers, we have animals, whatever it is, your little flutters. But I'll be right back. I'm going to grab just something real quick to put on here. It's going to be kind of fun. So again, if you want to actually bead it, put it on a thing and, you know, put it on. I'm just going to put them on here. So these are really pretty. So we have this little knot. Now I can undo the knot, or whatever it is that you want to do with that, or cut it off. But I could probably shove these in here if I really wanted to, but I think what I'm going to do is, now generally I have wire, but I just saw these little flowers sitting here and I usually take them off their wire anyway, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to pop this wire out. Oh, of course this is the one that's all around this thing. Okay. And I'm going to push this in through my bead, and kind of like a, the thing that helps you kind of put your floss or your whatever thread in your needle, a needle threader. And I'm going to hold on to these guys. I can do them one at a time, but I think I'm going to bring them both through. So I'm just going to pop this in here. So we're going to pull this out a little bit, make this a little bit easier. Now with the knot there, it would have been more difficult. That's why I took the knot off. But there it goes. And just pull it through. And then tie my knot again. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Just to add a little something extra. You don't have to do this at all. And thank you guys for the idea in the last swap. Just something a little cuter. Okay, so let me tie this. I'll do the other side. So there's my little bag, and you will make 4 exactly the same. And then when they come in, I'll show, you know, one of the bags off, and then I'll swap you out with 4 other people. So that's why I pulled groups of 5. Yours go to this person, this person, this person, this person. This person's goes to this person, this person, this person, and you, this person, you know, and keep going around. So that's how that works. But really, it looks so pretty, so fun. Hopefully you guys have a lot of fun with it. Again, my flowers I made are a little, you know, on the more simple side. Whatever it is that you like to do that fits in the bag, that follows the rules as far as tropical theme, 3 flowers, 2 different designs, 3 of each. And then your little flutters, again, can be 3 designs, 2 of each, or 2 designs, 3 of each, like what I did here. But you have to have 6, and not 6 different ones. So those are the things. It's either 2 designs, 3 of each, or 3 designs and 2 of each. That's it. And then your leaves that you want to add. If you want to add a little note card, go ahead. If you want to dress this up like this, like not much more than that, guys. Again, you're thinking about the space that you take, and look how much space this takes, you know? So the next person's is here, and I put them in a way that hopefully doesn't hurt each other. But you can't make this really huge, okay? So just think about that. And that's kind of what the bag helps us keep in line, right, in that space. And then our leaves. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, please email me if you're in the swap. That's probably a better way to do it than leaving a comment about whatever question you might have. And again, if there's still some openings, you can sign up, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty much almost filled up. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Get working on them. They had to be postmarked by the 21st, and hopefully you can do that prior to the 21st, because again, things happen and you don't want something to happen to your swap to get lost, you know. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye now.